All right, 1.4. Classify the polygon. First of all, number 1 is a quadrilateral. Quadrilateral.
I just wrote quad because I feel like the rest of the word was unnecessary.
4-sided, 6-sided over here. This is a hexagon. And then the idea of it, convex or concave. Number 1 is convex. Nothing's caving in. Number 2 is concave. And really, it's like, you know, these sides that go inside are the ones that are going to show us, oh, if we extended those lines, they'd go inside. Find the perimeter of this quadrilateral. Double check your graph on number 3. For problem 3, I can count P to Q is 1 unit. S to R is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. You have to do the distance for S to P. S to P, if I get my X and Y for SP, S is -2, 3. P is 2 and 4. How far apart on the Y's is 1. How far apart on the X's is 4. And then, sorry, I just want to turn this down so it's not too loud in my video. And then S to P is going to be 4 squared plus 1 squared under the radical. That's going to be the square root of 17. I'll put that up top there. I need to find the distance from R to Q. Only way to do it is to use the distance formula, shortcut. R is -2, -2. Q is 2 and 3. The X's, how far apart, is 4. The Y's, how far apart, is 5. 4 squared plus 5 squared, that's 16 plus 25. Under the radical is going to be the square root of 41. So I go and put that there, and to find the perimeter of this, then I go around and add up the side lengths. 1 plus the square root of 17, I need somebody to give me this, plus 5 plus the square root of 41. And when you go into your calculators, don't forget to close up your parentheses around your radicals. What's under the radical? Anybody have that? $16.52. Yeah. 0.52? Sounds good. Okay, I was already looking ahead at 4. 4 and 5 are looking for area. Actually, with 4, area is base times height divided by 2. It's a triangle. We did one of these yesterday. London, I think I was doing too much with you. I didn't realize what we were trying to find. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Base is 6. How tall is it? That's this length here. You don't even have to do distance formula to figure out this area. The height from the base, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The height is 7. So for the area of this, it's going to be 6 times 7, which is 42 divided by 2. The area of this one is 21. Number 5 is also an area problem. And this rectangle is 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4 by 7. So the area of this is going to be 28. It's a rectangle. You only divide by 2 when we're dealing with the area of a triangle. And then we go back to our paper for number 6. Oh, this is where we start working out that big long problem. Well, all the problems. Find the perimeter of square ADEF. ADEF is this square. Now, since it's a square, I just have to find the side length of it once. Let me do the side AD. How long is AD? You could have found any of these side lengths. A sits at 0, 4. D sits at 4, 0. The how far aparts on both of them are 4. So that's going to be 4 squared plus 4 squared. That's the square root of 32. So if these side lengths are all the square root of 32, I could draw them all over here, but the square root of 32 for all these lengths, the perimeter of that is going to be 4 times the square root of 32, or square root 32 plus square root 32 plus square root 32. Can somebody give me the 4 times square root 32? 22.62, great. So distance around is just adding that up for the 4 sides. Find the perimeter of triangle BCD. Now this is where when I gave you guys these extra drawings, the idea was that, you know, like with these, perimeter of, what's this one? BCD. BCD, that's this triangle right here. Now, when I go and look at that triangle there, I can count to find out that this side length BC is 2, B to D is 4. I need to find out what D to C is. Go do a distance formula on that. Anytime it's not vertical or horizontal, we got to do distance formula. D is 4, 0. C is 6, 4. How far apart is 2 on the x's? How far apart is 4 on the y's? 2 squared plus 4 squared. That's going to be the square root of 20. And so the perimeter of that triangle is going to be 2 plus 4 plus the square root of 20. So that'll be, I don't know, maybe 10 point something. Find out. Anybody have it? 10.47. Beautiful. Thank you. Now find the square, or the area of the square, ADEF. Well, we already have the side length of that. So the area of that square is just going to be the square root of 32 times the square root of 32, length times width. And that actually should be exactly 32. Square root of 32 times square root of 32. Side length. It's the same yellow square that I had outlined already. Now for number, so what did I do over here? Number 7. This is number 6 and 8 are the squares that are there. Number 9, find the area of triangle ACD. So now we're looking at the area of this triangle right here. A to C to D. Area of a triangle comes from 1/2 times the base times the height. I can see the base of this triangle. I can count the base and the height for this. The base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The height is 4. And so for the area of that triangle, it's going to be 6 times 4, then divided by 2. That's going to work out to be 12. Find the area of the Pentagon ACDEF. Well, all that's doing is asking me to find the area of the entire thing. And I have the areas that I need to add those together. The area of the square was 32. We had this area was 32. We have this area is 12. So the area of that whole thing is 44. That was like that one in our notes packet too. Now for question 11, I plotted the 3 vertices. A rectangle has these vertices. I put them on my paper. 1, 4, 3, 4, and 3, -3. And find the remaining vertex and what's the area. Well, if I had to put on another vertex to make it a rectangle, it would have to be at 1, -3. 1, -3 is the missing point. I can draw that up. And then what's the area of this? Well, it's 2 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a 2 by 7 rectangle, so the area is just going to be 2 times 7, which is 14. Missing corner would be at this 1 and -3. Now problem 12, this is the backyard problem, right? The yard, yes, exactly. You're installing a fence around your yard. In the figure, your yard is a rectangle A, B, C, D. Whole yard, this actually looks like my yard. Like my house sits in the front of my yard like this, and same thing. Like my lot size is half of it's the front yard, half of it's the back. My house sits up front. Each unit in the coordinate plane represents 10 feet. So this is 20, 40, 60, 80, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. What's the perimeter of your entire yard? Well, for this one, I would just be finding out how long each side is. Let's see, from the back fence here, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. That's 60 feet across the back. That means the front is 60 feet. Just counting, and if you counted it up 6, you got to go back and say every section is 10 feet. Now, the length of it over here, 1, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. So what's the perimeter of your entire yard? 2 times 60 plus 2 times 120. And I think that should be, well, that's 3 120s, 360. It's 360 feet around your yard. You consider installing a fence around your backyard only. What's the perimeter of your backyard? So this is where they say, let's cut this off and just fence in this part. So I actually just cut the yard in half and the backyard in half. So actually this is 60 feet by 60 feet. The backyard is a perfect square, 60 feet on a side. What's the perimeter of the backyard? Well, the perimeter of the backyard then is going to be 4 times 60 or 240 feet. Now, the cost of fencing is 50 feet for each 6-foot section. How much do you save by installing a fence in your backyard? This has got a lot of stuff going on. Here's an algebra problem for us. Always, we get dumped into these algebra problems in our geometry work. If I was going to fence the entire yard, it's 360 feet around. Fencing comes in 6-foot lengths. That means if I did the entire yard, I would need 60 sections of fencing. 360 divided by the 6-foot lengths means I need 60 sections of fencing if I'm going to do my entire yard. Now, this is totally realistic too. This is how much this stuff is. How much would it be if each section was $50? I think that would be $3,000. Yep. Yeah, right? My house had a fence. I didn't have to pay for it, thank God. Actually, I remember doing this problem last year and thinking, thank God I didn't have to pay for my fence. If I only fence the backyard, that's 240 feet. They still come in 6-foot sections, so I would need 40 of them if I only did the backyard. 40 times $50 a piece is going to be $2,000. How much do you save by installing a fence only in the backyard? Well, whole yard is this, backyard would just be this, so the difference would be $1,000 if you only fenced in your backyard. You'd save $1,000 by not putting your fence around the front yard. All right.